Friday, the art and cultural side of Southeast Asia.
Hello and welcome to Duran ASEAN. You're with Gowri here.
And this is Arlene.
And this is, of course, your Anything Can Happen Friday. And it's Friday again. And we're here to bring you more arts and culture topics from all over Southeast Asia. And, of course, you just heard the theme score of Star Wars just now. And what else can we talk about today if not Star Wars with all the buzz and hype that's been happening? And, of course, with us today in the studio, we have somebody to help us with the discussion today, and it's Umapagan, who is a BFM announcer and also a certified geek. So I guess you're the right person for this.
I certified him.
Arlene certified, so you're good.
Yeah, thank you very much. I am.
So, Uma, just tell us a bit about yourself before we get started.
Sure. I as you mentioned, I work at BFM. I do the evening edition drive time show. I'm also a writer. I write for The Edge occasionally, and I do a lot of writing, a lot of radio, a lot of podcasting.
So you are an everything guy, I guess.
A little bit, yeah. I know, right?
And you're also behind two of the biggest nerd festival.
Oh, yes. So I run literary festivals as well. So I ran Kuala Lumpur Festival. Yes. I run the Kuala Lumpur Festival, and I used to run the Georgetown Festival as well. But Bernice Chorley is now running the Georgetown Literary Festival.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us, how big of a Star Wars fan are you?
Pretty big. I'm not a crazy collector guy.
It depends on which Star Wars movie, right?
Well, yes,
There's 7 of it now.
7 now, yeah. I know. I'm not a crazy collector guy. I do like some of the toys and the Lego and stuff like that. But I enjoy the content. I enjoy the movies. I enjoy the universe. I enjoy some of the novels. I've been a fan ever since I was a kid. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty big fan. It hasn't really left me lah.
Say on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the craziest, where do you stand?
I would probably be a solid 8.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah, 8.5. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about how this whole Star Wars idea came about with George Lucas.
Yeah, so Lucas, I mean, the story goes that Lucas was quite influenced by a lot of classic Japanese movies, Akira Kurosawa's The Hidden Fortress. I mean, if the first Star Wars movie, which was released in 1977, is widely considered to be a remake of Hidden Fortress, like, you know, almost a straight-up remake of Hidden Fortress. The same story, saving the princess, and, you know, fighting the bad guys, big evil from the big evil empire. So George Lucas was influenced by that, and also.
And you see that in the movie as well, the costumes, the makeup.
Even the way they use the lightsabers to fight, it's very samurai style. The way Obi-Wan uses the lightsabers to fight.
And at that time, when it comes to the Hollywood movies, during those era, very few of those teams emerged, right?
Yeah, a lot of directors at the time, so George Lucas, Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, all of these people, they were influenced by Japanese directors, and I think they studied a lot from them, and they tried to bring elements of it into their films as well. But George Lucas, so it was a lot of Hollywood movies. It was also Joseph Campbell's Hero with a Thousand Faces, the big thesis on myths and heroes and the hero's journey and all of that. So Lucas was influenced by all of these things, and he just kind of made it into a package that was a lot more. It was fun, you know. So he kind of added the element of fun, comedy, science fiction, fantasy. He added all of these elements and made a package that was very entertaining. Yeah.
And there was also a news that Sony at that time didn't quite believe in the idea because it required too much special effects, too much CGI, and
well, there's no CGI back then, so it was all just like models and stuff, right?
A lot of amazing models. I mean, I look back the documentaries.
Correct.
It's amazing.
But no one did, and I think it took a person at Fox at the time to actually 20th Century Fox to believe in the project and greenlight it, and then well, they made a lot of money after that.
They did.
Yeah.
So when it comes to watching Star Wars, first of all, which is your favorite movie out of the 6? Let's not talk about the 7 yet.
Okay. So out of the 6, it would probably be Empire Strikes Back. I think for a lot of people, that is probably their favorite Star Wars movie. It's up between Empire and the first one, or at least everyone I've spoken to.
When Empire Strikes Back, when it was premiered, Were you born yet?
I wasn't. I was
Just
born when Jedi was.
The Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe when I was a kid, my parents had taken me to see Return of the Jedi. When I was a little kid, my parents had taken me to see Return of the Jedi at the cinema. But Empire, no. I wasn't born yet. Actually, I was born, but I was like a baby. Yeah, because Empire came out in 1980, 1981.
You were like little baby Luke.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, no, I don't think there's any point taking me to the cinema then. No, Empire wasn't out yet. But, yeah. So,
And why Empire Strikes Back?
Empire Strikes Back, it was a very different movie, right? So the first movie was a really interesting, it was a very simple story. First movie was, there's a princess in danger, there's a young boy, the guys team up, they go save the princess, and then they find themselves in this big in this something bigger than themselves, and they help win this big victory. Empire, our heroes are constantly on the run. They're being hunted by the Empire. And while all of this is happening, they are trying to, live their lives. There's a bit of romance going on. Luke is still trying to be trained. The Resistance is, busy trying to pull itself together to defeat this big evil force. So all of these things are happening while our main heroes are being hunted, and the pace of the movie is very, very good, and it holds up. I mean, I watched it again before this new film came out last week, and it actually holds up. A lot of these old movies date. And the storytelling is very tight. The music is fantastic. The lines in the movie are great. I mean, everything works really, really well as a science fiction, as a fantasy film. It's not really science fiction. I make the mistake of calling Star Wars science fiction. It's actually just science fantasy, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, that was going to be my next question. Because a lot of people tend to make that mistake online, especially when they tend to argue, like, is it fantasy? Is it
fantasy.
sci-fi?
I mean, there's no science there. I mean, it's
Unless it's Star Trek, but let's not go
yeah,
there.
and it's interesting. Star Trek has I think Star Trek has a different influence on fans than Star Wars does. So it's interesting. I find that real hardcore fans of Star Wars, if it ever influences their life and career, they end up being creative types.
Okay.
It kind of a lot of filmmakers I know say they were inspired by Star Wars. A lot of writers I know say they were inspired by Star Wars. But Star Trek actually inspires a lot of scientists. A lot of
creators.
people. Yeah, so a lot of people I know who are huge Star Trek fans or watched the early Star Trek actually grew up wanting to be scientists, and I think that's a very good distinction between science fiction and science fantasy, because the filmmakers and writers end up enjoying the fantasy of it, and then the scientists and sciencey people end up enjoying the science of it, and it's a good distinction to make, I think.
But there could be a Death Star, no?
Apparently, did you see this? It was a couple of years ago. There was a petition on the White House website
What is it?
to petition the building of a Death Star or something like that. Yeah, and it was really funny because Barack Obama's people actually replied to it as well.
Okay,
and I can't remember, they put a cost to it. It was something like 860 quadrillion or trillion.
Wow.
I can't remember how much it
Okay.
would cost to build something like that. It was really, really amusing. Yeah. Yeah.
So speaking of all the hype about Star Wars as well, I think like Arlene was just mentioning earlier, why is it such it's almost blasphemous when somebody says, "Oh, I've never seen any of the Star Wars movies," and people attack you right away. Why do you think that happens?
People will be like, what?
What's wrong with you?
I don't know if it's attacking. I mean, so I actually think I actually
Yeah.
go, what, really?
Yeah.
And the reason I go, what, really, is not because I think everyone must like it. No,
Yeah.
I think.
At some point in your life, you must have know about it.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think
But
it's
then
an
there's so much
important.
you're missing out on.
Yeah, but I think it's an important cultural point,
Okay.
checkpoint, right? So whether you're, and I think it's an important global cultural checkpoint. So it's just like if you, every time I meet a Malaysian who's never tried durian, I have that same effect.
Right.
I'm just like, what? Really? You've never tried it? I don't mind if you don't like it, but at least try it, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
And I think Star Wars is like that, and a global cultural checkpoint. You can go anywhere in the world, and even those people, like you said, who've never seen it,
Yeah.
know
No Star Wars.
know the plot points.
Yeah.
They know the "No, I am your father" line. Everyone knows it. Like
Yeah.
so, that's like the biggest spoiler of all time, which is given away, so everyone knows it. And yeah, so I think it's so pervasive, and everybody knows because culturally, you can read an article in a newspaper which has nothing to do with Star Wars,
Yeah.
but there could be a Star Wars reference in there, and people don't even have to explain it anymore. It's not like they'll go explain it in brackets from the movie Star Wars. They don't have to do
That's
that
true.
anymore.
Yeah.
And I think someone from China can read it, someone from India can read it, someone from Malaysia can
I mean,
read
even
it.
the word force is like automatically
Exactly.
you associate it with Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. So I think culturally it's so pervasive that Yeah, I mean, but that's one thing about this new movie, right? I think this new movie will bring a new generation of fans.
Right.
Like new kids will.
Yeah, that will help.
Yeah, so new kids will watch this movie, and maybe the first one they watch, and then they go, oh, let's go see the old movies,
Right.
and yeah, so I think it'll bring a new generation. Hopefully, it'll have that same inspirational.
I think that's
impact.
true because in 1977 I wasn't born yet. And
Yeah.
I didn't really know about the movies back then, but somehow I got into it because of 456, especially because it looks newer than the
I know, right?
the other trilogy.
My earliest
Yeah.
memory of Star Wars was the same as you, the Return of the Jedi, and I think that's where I started to fall in love with Ewoks first.
Right,
Then
yeah.
I move on to other characters
Right.
as a kid.
And maybe you can tell us which is your best Star Wars scene or moments that really moved you, or you just cannot get that line out of your head.
Oh, just quite. Yet again, I think there's quite a few. There are quite a few from this new movie, but I won't spoil it.
Yes.
Because I know
Don't
you
do
guys
that.
haven't
Don't
seen
you
it
please.
yet. Yes, that's
Don't
right.
make people hate us.
No, I think from Empire Strikes Back, that scene when Han gets frozen in carbonite and Leia tells him, I love you for the first time, and his response is, I know, which is a great line. I think it's a great moment, and also it wasn't scripted. It wasn't a scripted
Oh,
moment.
really? Okay.
No, because they had done the story goes that they had done the take so many times, and he was supposed to go, I love you too. But I think he
But
was
it's-
at the
it
end of
just-
it. He was just bored of doing the same take over and over again. They couldn't get it right, so he just says, "I know," and it worked.
Right.
Yeah. So
And it
that's the
probably
myth. I don't
wasn't
know how
very
far it's true.
Han Solo as well.
Yeah,
He said, "I love you
too." Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's one scene I really do like. I do like. I do like that opening scene in the first movie. After the scroll, you just see a black sky. I mean, a black space, empty space, and then the small ship, and then the big ship comes. And I think as a kid, when you're watching that, you've never seen anything like it before, right? And that kind of blows you away from the very get go. Like you're like, oh, this is going to be something big. The juxtaposition of small ship, big ship, very very clever. I think I can't name anything from the prequels in particular. I try to
Not even Jar Jar Binks?
No, God no. Yeah, I try to. I can't unsee those movies,
Alright.
even though I try to forget them. But yes, and then from Jedi, I think from Return of the Jedi that opening scene with in Jabba the Hutt's.
Oh, okay. Princess Leia in the gold bikini.
In the gold bikini, but also all of that interaction, that whole interaction. I think it's the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, which is very good because you find the droids on the desert planet again, like you did in the first movie.
Right.
So everything comes full circle, and I think is a very nice way to reintroduce the team or all the characters back together
That's
again.
true.
Okay.
But Yoda, he always says something that is
Epic,
quotable.
or
Oh, of course. Or even if he didn't say it, people just say anything in that voice, right? And
That's
it works.
true.
Yeah, in that cadence.
And it sounds epic anyway.
Exactly.
And there's of course a lot of different ways to watch the Star Wars movie. I
yes.
think for someone like me who wasn't born when it actually came out, it didn't really matter because I could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would be against that. Like, what? No.
Yeah.
So and there's also this Machete order that a lot of
Yes.
people are against.
Why
So
are they against? I like that order.
I don't know. They call it the weird because it's like 4, 5, 2, 3,
and then 6. And then you
then
leave out one.
One is optional.
Correct. One is
Yeah.
totally well. One is not even optional. Just leave it out.
Just leave
forget
it
about
out.
it. Yeah.
So what
I
is your
I like.
take?
Oh, my take is just 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Forget 1, 2, and 3. Right. I think 1, 2.
It's even worse. You're leaving out 3
Yeah,
movies.
I think 1, 2, and 3 is kind of irrelevant
Okay.
because 4, 5, and 6 gets you to the point that you need to be at.
Okay.
But the Machete order is very clever. I mean, if you are a completist, I think the Machete order is very very good. That's the screening they did at Sunway. The Star Wars fan club guys. I think that's the order they played. Their all night, all day marathon,
Okay,
which
okay.
they did 2 days ago. They were up for like 36 hours or something silly.
It's
It's
crazy.
crazy, yeah. And I think that's the order. So 4, 5 because you want the big reveal in 5, right? That Darth Vader. That was one of the biggest twists in cinema history. People walked out. Apparently, there were people outside the cinema in the 80s who were spoiling the film back then. They would run outside the cinema and they would shout, Darth Vader is Luke's father, and so there were. I guess that was their version of Facebook, right? And they would do that. So that was one of the biggest twists in cinema history. So I think if you're watching it for the very first time,
Mm-hmm.
if you watch it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that twist is lost to you.
Really?
So,
Doesn't it build up more?
no, because at the
Like-
end of 3 you know already.
Okay,
Because they say the
okay,
twins are
that is
born and
true.
it's and they call Luke and Leia, yeah, exactly. So
Right.
that kills it for you. So I think if you're introducing the movie to a 7-year-old, to an 8-year-old, you want that kid to be like blown away by that
Mhm.
moment, by that twist.
Especially they have an incest scene.
Yeah,
know,
they
when
did.
earlier-
It's really weird. I know, right? I know. Yeah, but it's okay. They didn't know.
They
didn't
didn't
know.
know.
They were brother and sister.
And
It's
she was
all
just
right.
trying to make Han jealous. So,
Exactly,
you know.
exactly. So yeah.
So
I
if
think
you were to introduce Star Wars to someone who's never seen it before,
Yes.
which order would you recommend?
if I were to introduce Star Wars to someone who's never seen it before, I would put 4, 5, 6, and
4,
then
5,
I would say 1, 2, and 3 are optional. Right? 1, 2, and 3 are
Okay.
optional. If you feel like a completist and you're still not happy, then go
Mm.
watch 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, 4, 5, 6 perfectly fine.
Okay. So I think we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the frequently asked questions about the characters and some debated scenes in Star Wars.
Anything can happen Friday. The art and cultural side of Southeast Asia.
Hello, welcome back to Durian ASEAN. You're still with Gowri here.
And this is Arlene.
And this is your Anything Can Happen Friday on Durian ASEAN. And of course, with me, I have also Umapagan in the house.
Hello.
Who
Hey.
is joining us to discuss Star Wars, of course, with all the hype that's happening. And the movie just came out yesterday.
That's right.
And you're also wearing a Star Wars t-shirt.
I am.
Tell us who is on the t-shirt for
On
our
the t-shirt-
listeners.
on the t-shirt is Boba Fett, a stormtrooper, Darth Vader, and Grand Moff Tarkin, who you may know as played by the classic Shakespearean actor Peter Cushing in the first movie.
Right.
Star Wars, yeah.
So for this part, maybe we'll focus more on the frequently asked questions about Star Wars.
All right.
And we can start off with
I will try
Master
and help.
Yoda.
Master Yoda.
So who trained Yoda? That's the biggest question usually.
Actually, I don't know if there's an answer to that.
He
really?
trained himself?
No, actually, I don't know. I mean, there may be an answer to that in what's called, I suppose. So there's Star Wars, and then
Mhm.
there's the expanded universe.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And so the Star Wars, the movie universe is just the 6th / now 7th movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the expanded universe, which also will include all the novels, the cartoons, the comics, the video games, all of that stuff. Because they
So
were
it's
all
another
their own.
Avenger movies.
Yeah,
together.
only it's much bigger than even Marvel, right? I mean, much bigger in the sense that the universe is so a lot more people have control over it. And when I say a lot more people have control over it, what George Lucas did in the 80s and 90s was he just kind of told people, yeah, if you want to write a Star Wars story, go ahead, and then we'll approve it if it's good, and we'll publish it.
Okay.
But he didn't exercise a lot of control over Star Wars, which is quite interesting because he just let people run away with it. So he would be like, yeah, write a novel, sure, make a video game, and then we'll make sure everything falls into line and
Right.
matches our idea of it. But you can tell your own story too, and I think that was quite interesting. So yeah,
Is
I
there anyone actually have map out like a Star Wars
I'm sure
universe?
I am sure there's some people who have. I'm sure there's a massive poster somewhere out there, but I don't know. There are like over 17,000 characters, so
Wow.
I don't know.
Right.
But yes, I don't know the answer to that question actually, and I'm sure someone must have talked about it in some comic book or
Okay.
some novel somewhere, which I haven't yet read. Yes.
Right. So what about when you talk about a Sith and a Dark Jedi? What are the differences between them?
Oh, okay. So here's the interesting thing as well, which a lot of people don't realize. Actually, the word Sith, you don't even hear it in 4, 5, and 6 ever.
Yeah.
Like it actually came from this expanded universe. As in between 4, 5, and 6 and 1, 2, and 3, all these people writing novels. That's the only time you don't even hear the Emperor's name. He's only called the Emperor. He's only called Emperor Palpatine later
Yeah,
in the
that's
books,
true.
in the role-playing games before, and all
Yeah.
of that stuff. So
Even Boba, the one that you're wearing.
yeah, they only.
character?
I can't remember if they mentioned his name in Empire, but but he first appeared in the Star Wars Holiday Special, which was awful. It's like a TV special, which was you can watch it on YouTube. It's so bad. Yeah. Anyway, so Sith are the Dark Lords, are the big bad in the Star Wars universe per se. there's always only two of them, as the story goes. There's always a master and an apprentice.
Yes.
And they how do I say, they're not, they are evil. I was going to say they're not necessarily evil, but no, they kind of embrace.
But they're in the dark side.
They are the dark side, right? So
Okay.
they embrace the things which you wouldn't necessarily consider evil. They embrace passion. You know, the Jedi are supposed to be impassionate, and they're not supposed to be angry and stuff like that. And I think you can make a case for anger and passion. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of businessmen and entrepreneurs who will say anger and passion is what, you know, I don't mean, which doesn't mean they're evil, but yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, that, and I think that's a Dark Jedi. Dark Jedi actually, I think, are characters, and people might correct me on this, but I think Dark Jedi they aren't evil per se, but they don't necessarily embrace the impassioned. So they're more passionate Jedi, is what I would like to call them.
But why is it that the dark side seems to be stronger and has more power than the light side?
So I don't know if that's true. Yeah, so this is an ongoing debate as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the dark side actually has more power than the light side. I think they embrace different kinds of power.
Okay.
And, you know, Master Yoda was supposedly the most powerful Jedi, and he lived for 900 years and all of that stuff. But no, I think he was an incredibly powerful person, but it's interesting because the Jedi seem to be taught only to use their powers in defense and never in aggression, right? And I think that's the difference. Normally, when you see the aggressive side, those people tend to put forward a more powerful image. Meanwhile, you know, I would think a Buddhist monk meditating in the mountains is a pretty
Right.
powerful character, but not the same as I don't know, a jet-setting billionaire entrepreneur who you would immediately associate with being more powerful. So
Okay.
yeah.
Because I mean, when they were trying to lure Luke to the dark side, that's how they did it.
Yes,
That
exactly.
you'll have all these extra powers that you don't have access to because you're in the light
Correct.
side.
Correct. Yeah. But yet again, if you read I know in the comics and the storybooks and all of this stuff, Luke becomes pretty powerful.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, he does actually, in the comic books and all that, he does embrace the dark side a little bit, because that was Lucas's plan, right? Lucas's plan originally was at the end of Return of the Jedi, Luke was going to be bad, and Han Solo was going to die at the end of Return of the Jedi. But
But
they
they
decided
changed it.
against it because,
Right.
well, toy sales. Essentially, he was
Kids watching.
yeah, essentially he was motivated entirely by the marketing business side of it, right? Which is fine.
But actually,
gave
it
us a
makes
nice
the
happy
story,
ending.
It makes the story better by making Luke more human
It
rather
does.
than
Correct.
the evil side.
Yeah, correct. I mean, so I think we're happier seeing Luke the way he wound up, right? Especially after 3 movies, and even if he did turn bad, at the end of it, you would be expecting some kind of redemption, because he
Right.
started off just like Darth Vader. At the end of Jedi, he gets redeemed, right? He kills the Emperor, and he finally, becomes
Okay.
good again.
And let's talk
Before he
about
dies.
the stormtroopers.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course, people always get confused as well between the stormtroopers and the clone troopers.
Oh yeah.
The-
So stormtroopers are actual people. Well, clone troopers are actual people too, but they're all clones from
Right.
Jango Fett, which was in the prequels. So they all look like him, or the actor anyway. But yeah, so clone troopers were used during the Clone Wars,
Yeah.
which took place in episode 1, 2, and 3, and it's mentioned by Obi-Wan in the first movie where he says your father was a great pilot during the Clone Wars, right? And yet again, another interesting trope. Obi-Wan mentions it as a throwaway comment, and I'm sure it was built into George Lucas's mythology at some
Right.
point, but nobody knew anything. It was just a throwaway line in the first movie.
Okay.
And of course, it became the basis of the prequels, of an entire cartoon series, which is actually very good. The cartoon series is actually much better written than the prequels, and dozens of novels and comic books. So yeah, so the clone troopers were actually clones. Stormtroopers, people, just regular people hired by the Empire. Yeah,
Who are
just
wearing full armored suits.
full armored suits.
Okay. And what about the different colors of lightsabers? Because if you see, there's purple,
Yeah, I know now.
green, there's blue.
I've lost track. Now there's so many, right? So I mean, it used to be very simple, right? Red was bad guys,
Yeah,
and then
blue was the good guys.
blue, greenish,
Green,
good
yeah.
guy. Because we only saw those colors in the original films.
Yeah, that's true.
Later, if you go into the expanded universe, they will tell you every color means something different.
Okay.
And I've lost track of what all the colors mean. Honestly, the only reason there was a purple lightsaber was because Samuel L. Jackson wanted a purple lightsaber, right? I mean, he just told George Lucas, "I want a purple lightsaber." George Lucas was like, "Sure, let's do it."
You're Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, you're Samuel L. Jackson.
Right. And moving on to Han Solo, of course, he's one of the most loved characters in Star Wars. Every guy wants to be like him. Every girl probably wants a guy like him. Wants him, that too. And it's Harrison Ford. But one question that I saw recurring on the net was that he seemed to be representing more of like an atheist in the movie when he said,
"Oh, he does.
Kid, I've traveled from this side to that side of the galaxy. I didn't see
mumbo
any
jumbo,
force
right?
combining anything."
No, I think he is, and he becomes a believer, right? Because he believes in Luke and he sees what he can do.
He says that as well. May the force be with you.
He does at the end, but I don't know, in the tone in which he says it at the end of the first movie, it feels like he's just throwing him one line, saying, "Yeah, okay, go.
Right.
You're going to blow up the Death Star."
You, right?
Yeah. But he becomes a believer. I mean, you've seen the. You've seen the trailer for the new movie, right?
Yeah.
So the trailer for
everywhere.
of course. So the trailer for the new movie, there's that line when Han says, it's all real. The Force, light side, dark side. So he's already, old Han, as we see in the trailer in Episode 7. He's already a believer, I think. He doesn't necessarily practice it. He doesn't. I don't think he really understands what it is, but I think he knows it's out there, which is quite interesting. But yeah, you're right. He starts off as a guy who's just, I've taken care of myself, I've looked after myself, I don't believe in all this extra stuff. The only person is me, right? And Chewie. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's one part where he actually asked Luke, I think, where did you dig up that old fossil?
Yeah, that's right.
To Obi-Wan Kenobi. And another scene about Han Solo, during the Han Solo and Greedo scene.
He shot first.
Okay, but why is that such a big deal? I mean, everyone's like, no, Greedo shot first, Han shot first.
Well, so I think it's a big deal for two reasons. I think people are upset with George Lucas for changing that. So what happened in the special editions of the Star Wars movies released in the 90s, George Lucas suddenly had the technology to go back and do fun stuff with special effects and CGI. And he said, my original vision, I never had the money to do the kind of things I wanted to do. So I want to put in some of the stuff, like, make the cities look bigger and more vibrant and all of that stuff. And so one of the scenes, but then we didn't think that he would actually change the narrative. And he did. So what he did was he made Greedo shoot first by just showing a laser shoot out onto the corner, and then Han shoots him dead, right? Yeah. A lot of people like the idea that Han would shoot first because I think they like the idea that he's a rogue, he's a scoundrel at the beginning of the movie. He's a bit, he's a bit relentless at the movie. He's only looking out for himself, and of course, it shows his character's progress as well. Over the 3 movies, he becomes more loving. He becomes more caring. He not enjoys, but he takes part in a cause that's bigger than himself. And I think that arc is somehow messed up by the fact that Greedo shoots first. And there's lots of explanations as to why Greedo shoots first or why Han shoots first. And so I think the fans, they like the character arc, but also I think they're still angry with Lucas lah. They didn't want him to change that narrative, right?
Okay. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it makes sense if at that point of time that Han shot first, because he was portrayed as the kind of guy who was running away, hiding from Jabba.
Correct, right? Yeah. And he want to clear the way out of anyone who could, take him back to Jabba. Yeah,
that's true. And finally, before we go for another break, during the duel between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, when Obi-Wan says, "If you kill me, I'll only be a lot stronger."
Yeah.
How is that? How is he to be stronger if he dies?
I think he becomes one with the Force. What happened was, and this is all explained in retrospect, right?
Right.
When the new movie came out, when episodes 1, 2, and 3 came out, Liam Neeson's character Qui-Gon Jinn gets cremated, right? And then the idea is that they didn't know, or the Jedi didn't know that they could become one with the Force, and that's why his body gets cremated, and he finds his way back because I think in episode 3, if I'm not mistaken, he speaks to Anakin again in his voice comes out. And I think that was an interesting thing. So that's then they discovered that they could come back from not come back from the dead per se, but actually be part of the Force and kind of guide people around. And I think
like a spirit.
Like a spirit guide.
Our world sort of.
Correct, like a spirit guide, right? And that's why Obi-Wan does the same, Yoda does the same. And at the end of Return of the Jedi, Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader
Yeah.
does the same.
Yeah.
When you see them all standing side by side as ghosts, right? Yeah.
It's like happy ending.
Happy ending, exactly.
When they become part of the Force, are they able to do anything physical? Or are they just as a guardian angels?
I don't think so. I think they're like guardian angels. I don't think they can actually do anything physical. I'm not sure if that was explored in any detail in the comic books. Yeah, but in one of the novels, which came out, which was at the time the authorized sequels to Return of the Jedi, novels created by Timothy Zahn.
Okay.
It was authorized by Lucas as coming after Jedi. Of course, that doesn't matter anymore, lah. It's now 1967. But in those novels, Obi-Wan actually tells Luke, I'm going away now. You've learned everything you can from me.
Yeah.
And then he stops talking to Luke, lah. And so Luke is not a crazy person talking to ghosts anymore. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we will go for another short break. When we come back, we'll talk about episode 7 in a spoiler-free way.
Spoiler-free, promise.
And
Spoiler-free.
what to expect, as well as a bit of a trivia for our guest today.
You're now listening to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.
Anything can happen Friday. The art and cultural side of Southeast Asia.
Hello, welcome back to Duran ASEAN. You're with Gowri
And you're with Arlene.
and also Umapagan, who
Hello.
is here all the way from BFM. So for this part, it's the final part of our discussion, and
Alright.
of course we've covered so much, starting from the movies to all the frequently asked questions and scenes. So let's move on to episode 7. We know you've seen it.
I have.
We haven't. Maybe a lot of people out there haven't either.
No, a lot
so
of people haven't.
tell
so.
us what to expect, in a way that you
I won't
don't
spoil the movie.
reveal
No, I won't give
anything.
any away
Yeah.
the plot, right? Which is interesting because you think you've had a lot of it, like you're saying, Arlene, that
Yes.
it's everywhere, but actually it isn't. In the sense that we actually know nothing about the movie.
Oh.
You don't, right?
Okay.
The trailers
That's
haven't
true.
told you anything. You don't know who the
Right.
characters are. You don't know any of the plot. You see movie trailers these days, and they kind of give away the whole movie by
Yeah, they do.
in 2
Yeah,
minutes, right?
that's
And this one, I think there's like 20 different trailers, and you still don't know anything. So,
Ah.
which is nice. Which is why I think it's been a long time since I've been to see a movie where there's actually something to spoil. Like normally, by the time you come out of a movie, people go,
like,
"Oh,
yeah,
no
the
spoilers, no spoilers," and you're like, "Well, actually, there's nothing really to spoil, right?" No, but movies very rarely have big twists these days, and so yeah, I mean, so it's nice. I like the fact that people can go into Star Wars and actually be surprised when they go in to see it, and I think that's one thing that you can expect. When you go in, you don't know anything about it. It's fresh. It feels like you're going into a movie that you actually haven't been told the whole story in a 3-minute trailer, lah.
Right.
You like Empire Strikes Back. Do you think this one rival it?
So in my review, I would have I said that this one is probably now I would rank it number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah, so Empire and then this one, but I don't know. It's still early. I mean, I've only seen it
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Maybe it was just
and
the
again
excitement.
yesterday. Yeah, exactly. So I think I'll have to digest it over maybe 6 months. But but no, I think it's number 2 at the moment. It's a very well crafted film.
Okay.
J.J. Abrams has done well to make a good movie that kind of serves the fans, but at the same time sets up a new generation of characters, which is very difficult to do, right? And I think he did it for Star Trek a few years ago,
Okay.
and I think he's done it well for Star Wars as well. So I don't think anyone would be. I don't think the fans would be disappointed,
Okay.
and I don't think the casual moviegoer would be disappointed either, because the casual moviegoer will just have a good time. It's like action, adventure, space battles,
Right.
drama. It's so what's there not to like, right? It's a good, fun, wholesome, entertaining film.
All right.
Yeah.
I think P was probably scared of this tweet that was going around too, that if he screws up, he'll be known as
Jar Jar Abrams. That's right.
from now on.
That is right.
So that's good. He will. That was not gonna happen.
No, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, if you go to RottenTomatoes.com, I think it's got 94% rating, which
Yeah,
is
it's pretty
very
high.
high.
Very high.
Very high. Yeah.
Right.
So universal praise. I mean, even the reviews I've read online, a lot of people have minor niggling criticisms, and it's quite
Okay.
interesting because I look at those criticisms and I'm like, okay, now you're just nitpicking. But the key is that you wouldn't nitpick
Okay.
a film like this. It's not Schindler's List. It's not The King's Speech. It's not
Right.
trying to be something it isn't. It knows exactly. It's pop culture,
Okay.
explosive entertainment, right? Yeah, and so no need to nitpick. Just go and enjoy it, lah.
Right. So that sounds exciting.
Yeah, I think you guys will have a
Can't
good
wait
time.
to watch
You're going
it.
tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think you
tomorrow.
guys will have
I think
fun.
Arlene's watching tonight.
Yeah,
so-
I'm watching it
yeah.
tonight. I
Okay.
can't wait.
then you can spoil it for Gowri, lah.
No!
Send her a WhatsApp message.
although I mean this is a bit racist, but we actually joke about it. Will there have any Asian character in it?
God, there are Asian
Dad,
characters.
Okay, it's time for our trivia. So yeah, we have a trivia for
Oh,
you.
no, okay.
We have 10 questions.
Okay.
So I have 10 different quotes for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go through them really quickly.
Okay.
And you're gonna tell me the first name that comes to your mind.
I will try. I'm not good with the prequels, but go.
Okay. Laugh it up, fuzzball.
Han Solo.
I'm a Jedi, just like my father before me.
Luke Skywalker.
That's no moon.
Obi-Wan.
Okay. Only your hatred can destroy me.
Emperor.
Why you slimy, double-crossing, no-good swindler?
You're wearing it.
Leia.
It was Lando, actually.
It was Lando, yeah.
Bounty hunters. We don't need that scum.
We don't need that scum. Oh man. The captain, when Darth Vader is talking to a group of bounty hunters. Captain Nida.
Okay, I'll give you a choice.
No.
Admiral Pete,
Admiral
Grand Moff
Piet.
Tarkin.
Admiral
Okay.
Piet. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Ah.
You're a feisty little one, but soon you'll learn some respect.
You are a feisty little one, but soon you will learn some respect. Oh, the droid
Yeah, it
in
is a
Jabba's palace, but I can't remember his name now. When he's talking about R2D2.
Okay, General Grievous, EV-99 or IG-88?
EV9. No, IG-88. Right?
No,
EV-99.
it's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many Bothans died to bring us this information.
Mon Mothma.
You don't even know if this thing is gonna run. Watto, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Sebulba, Kitster.
Whoa, that's not a prequel, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to say Watto.
Not the right answer.
No. Who was that?
Okay, I'll just get to the question.
Sure.
Bargain rather than fight. He's no Jedi.
That's from the prequel as well.
Yeah. Jabba the Hutt, Bib Fortuna, Ula, or Bush.
I'll say Bush.
Oh, you got 4 out of 10 right.
Really?
So yeah,
Too many prequel
that's
questions.
okay. It's the difficulty level is
Too
very
many prequel
different.
questions.
Oh
that's
right,
why.
you're a 4, 5, 6 fan.
Don't like them prequels.
Okay, so I think that will be all for
Yay!
our
Awesome.
interview today. I
Well,
think it was a very fun interview. Thank you
Enjoy
so much.
the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, or the movie when you
The
go
movie.
and see it.
Uh-huh.
I'm
We
sure
look
you
forward
guys,
to your review.
I'm sure you guys will want to see it more than once.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's a good spoiler.
That's a good spoiler. That's right. So thank you so much, Umapagan, for being here today.
Thank you.
And sharing with us your insights about Star Wars.
My pleasure.